Whew. Today is the start of my new adventure as a young professional. I hope I stand the odds in the long run.
Good day, Mr. Malyari. My name is Rinto Matian and I will be accompanying you with your training for today. Before anything else, I would like to inform you that the focus of your training is what we are truly value in this organization, which is the communication. Let us now start.
Good morning, my name is Angelica. At this moment, I will be giving you knowledge on how important communication inside the organization is and how communication affects human behavior. As human beings, we tend to be in social circles around people. We form relationships with one another naturally, and this is one of the essential elements in our lives. Communication is simply the act of transferring information from one place, person, or group to another. We mainly utilize it to inform and also influence others. This also helps an organization building a strong team environment. There are certain types of communication, first of which is the intrapersonal communication, where the sender and the receiver is the same person. Next is the interpersonal communication, which requires two people interacting with each other. It is then followed by group communication, which involves several people interacting or sharing different points and views. Last would be the mass communication, which involves several people that are considered as faceless audiences. The manner by which individuals communicate in the work setting depends on the type of channels, the formal and informal mode of communication.
Thank you, Miss Angelica. To enhance your understanding more, let us now proceed to Mr. Jericho.
A pleasant day. For now, I will discuss how communication works in formal channel. In formal communication, the exchange of ideas and information is done under the plan organizational structure to create mutual understanding. In group communication, there is direct contact among the managers and the subordinates. Managers, as the sender, know as to when and under which conditions their subordinates need information. In this way, this communication is capable of making available timely information. In this type of group communication, the interaction is held between different organizational levels. Thus, the message is from higher level down to its receiver, which are the lower level, the employees. Also, group communication can be horizontal in manner because it occurs between and across the departments of people starting from the middle management as a sender. Middle management controls the flow of information in a company. A manager, for instance, is the one who gets to know important information and gossips persons. She or he then imparts the necessary and important information to the related person or department, while the receiver are the employees. The message could be in a written or oral form. Here is an example for you. Marketing department set up meeting about the sales of their company and the changes they are experiencing.
The company is under a certain problem that is hard to control. Today, we are here to talk about our sales since they are declining. Any suggestions on how can we increase our sales?
I suggest we should provide innovations on our products like adding new flavors, textures, packaging, and of course, advertise it on social media and other platforms.
Wait, I think that's too much. Since our sales are declining at the present, I think we should cut off our expenses and consider other factors that affect our sales.
Okay, thank you for your suggestion. I'll talk to the board of directors and tell them your suggestions and see if they also agree with their idea. I know that we can do this and we can get through this. That's it. Meeting adjourned.
Now I know. So the process sounded complicated, but actually it is easy to understand.
Good to know that. Let us now move on to Miss Kimberly.
Good day. To continue, in interpersonal communication, communication flows upward in which the information is moving from lower level employees to high level employees. For example, workers report to a supervisor or when team leaders report to a department manager. Items typically communicated upward include progress reports, proposals for projects, budget estimates, suggestions for improvements, and schedule concerns. In this type of communication, assertive behavior may occur in situations by expressing the thoughts without violating the rights of others. For example, a worker speaks to the manager as regards of his or her suggestions to the board of directors.
The marketing department suggests increasing the sales of company by limiting the expenses to figure out the reasons of declining and the sales and advertise the product to social media.
This idea of your team is brilliant. I will relay this to the board of directors.
Aside from formal channels, we also have informal communication. This is the casual and unofficial form of communication wherein the information is exchanged spontaneously between two or more persons without conforming to the prescribed official rules, processes, systems, formalities, and chain of command.
I hope you're not having a hard time. Let us now hear from Miss Kate.
A pleasant day. In continuation, informal communication often grows naturally via an organization's employees and the social relationships that they have. Unlike formal communication, informal communication does not necessarily follow the hierarchical structure of the organizations from top management down to employees. We have to consider informal communication as an essential element of relationship building at work. No matter who are involved, it helps the organization to establish and strengthen the social connections between employees of all kinds. Just like in group communication, everyone can be the sender and the receiver. Thus, the process is circular that starts at any pointer level, then moves back to another pointer level, then moves back and forth. In addition to informal communication, it is done in an assertive way. Actions and words are appropriate and do not violate the rights of others. It is important to be polite in front of your supervisors and your subordinates, and to be fully aware of your own rights and responsibilities. Example, group discussion during lunch.
Hey guys, have you watched the recent basketball finals on television? All of the sports channels had a live telecast last time.
Oh yeah, the game was full of thrill and excitement.
And that was a close match, wondering whichever team would be on the finals.
That is definitely true. So it is also a way to get to know your workmates more.
You're right. Next to orient you is Miss Marikay.
To proceed, interpersonal communication could also be in an informal channel where the sender and the receiver are coming from the same group or organization. This is also similar to informal group communication of high level and lower level of employees, circular in an assertive way. The difference is just that the communication is happening in the same level of organization, meaning employee to employee or manager to manager. Informal communication might be a discomfort for a company loyalist. However, it is just used to facilitate team spirit and honest opinions. Both types of communication are important on the workplace, but informal communication is believed to be more beneficial since it can bridge gap among the departments and create a sense of belonging. Since this channel of communication is free for organization, the employees tend to give their honest opinions, thereby providing a chance for real change.
For now, we will be talking about common barriers that halt the communication process.
For sure, most of us already experience frustrations as we speak to other people because of unclear statements being raised. It gets complicated for there are times that people throw vague expressions which causes confusion. Commonly, the barriers are in the form of physical, psychological, and social. The first one is the physical barrier. It is manifested when the barrier to communication is a geographic distance between the sender and the receiver. It could also be technological problems or noise. Disturbance in hearing due to thunder, telephone call disconnection, or message not being sent in chat are some of the examples. Next is the social barrier. It mainly pertains to the differences between the sender and the receiver in certain factors like age, gender, financial status, and educational as well as family background, intellectual ability, religion, and health status. Cultural differences could also be a social barrier because of people innately differ in beliefs and customs. The last and the third one is the psychological barrier. It is the influence of the psychological state of the receiver or the sender which creates an obstacle for effective communication. Psychological barriers belong to the latter group and can seem impossible to overcome unless we understand their underlying causes. For example, some people with social anxiety or low self-esteem may be too distracted about how they are perceived when talking with another person.
Thank you, Miss Maniki. To elaborate the topic, please now listen to Mr. Darrell.
To continue, in organization, psychological and social barriers may occur in the lower level employees and interpersonal communications. Psychological barriers are the fear of expressing one's ideas to others, while social barriers are when the employees have different backgrounds and beliefs. Some might think that you are being racist because of the way you speak to them, and if you are going to argue with them and their opinions and beliefs, they may get offended. A way to overcome this barrier is to respect others' opinions, backgrounds, and beliefs. In interpersonal communication, this possibility expresses the passive behavior and aggressive behavior. This is when the sender and receiver of the message is just one person. In formal channels, passive behaviors occurs when a person fails to express his or her thoughts and feelings and does not stand up for the rights when being violated in aggressive behavior. This could be both informal and informal channels. This is when expressing your thoughts, feelings, and defending your rights in a way that usually inappropriate and often violates the rights of others. Communication may be distorted by perceptions of position.
Miss Angelica, can I count on you to do this best by tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am. I have already a lot of work to do, but I don't want to disappoint her.
Thank you, Mr. Darrell. At this point, I will be the one to discuss the manifestation of communication barriers in an organization. Psychological barriers can be also seen in interpersonal communication, wherein the lower level employee is a sender and the receiver is the higher level employee or the manager. The reason is that some managers in a high position are short-tempered and close-minded. If this happen in formal channel, the managers and subordinates could have aggressive and assertive behavior. The aggressiveness of expressing their thoughts and feeling as a manager while the employees expressing their thoughts in polite and appropriate manner. For example is giving a suggestion to manager to do the work by himself.
Hi, ma'am. Maybe I can do it in my own way?
No, you cannot. That is not the way we do things around here.
Social barriers can be in the interpersonal and group communication because of differences of employees' behaviors and belief. This could happen in employee to employee or supervisor to employee. This may have a barrier in assertive behavior as they're standing up for their rights and inappropriately expressing themselves. A way to overcome this barrier is to respect other people's opinion, backgrounds, and beliefs. Communication barriers can be anything that distorts and prevents a message from being properly sent and received. These barriers can cause a conflict in interpersonal relationships. This prevents business from being successful in different culture. This leads to employees' low satisfaction in an organization. I hope you will become well-oriented today. This is important as you start to work with us.
Yes, Mr. Rain. Everything was clear to me. As a matter of fact, here's my take on the briefings earlier. So, to overcome those barriers, everyone in the organization should be aware of their language, message, and tone. As the sender, he or she should ensure that the message is instructed in clear and simple language, while the contents of the message should be concise. Next is to communicate according to the need of the receiver. The sender of the communication should organize the information of the language not according to his or her level, but he or she should keep in mind the point of understanding of the receiver and make sure to receive proper feedback, for it is important to find out whether the receiver has appropriately understood the meaning of the information received. Effective communication improves the ability to present ideas and convey messages to others dealing within the workplace. So, fostering efficient communication is an organized may lead to success. When employees are fully engaged, they will work harder and smarter in ways, helping a business maximize its full potential.
I'm glad that you've learned a lot. I must say that you are ready to start on the next day. Best of luck, Mr. Raymond.